Our second semifinal here at the Battle Hardened Milwaukee is already underway, which means we're late. We're late for a very important
Mirror match.
mirror match between these two heroes. And look at that. It's already been going on for 20 minutes, and both players flying up to 53 and 47. Now, the difference between these two decks is mainly as followed. Luke Magnuson running Count Your Blessings. Levi Roush, not. So those are going to be the main differences between these two decklist construction.
Okay, I have to point this out because this is actually huge at this point. Both players sitting on multiple potions. And now in a wizard matchup, normally you look at potions and you kind of dictate the tempo of the game, how it's flowed so far. 3 energy potions is a massive, massive thing. And 2 healing potions and an energy potion's not too bad either. Look at the amount down on Levi's side. Look at the amount of cards already decomposed. He's fully online, ready to go. We can probably assume the same thing from Luke on his side, which means that with those E-Pots and the right combination of cards in hand, you can present insane damage percentages and damage numbers off of the Verdance combo.
And you know, I was kind of being a little bit reductive, speaking of Count Your Blessings. I think Luke's playing much more of like a Wizard's Verdance, right? And it feels as though Levi's playing much more of like an Earth Hero's Verdance, playing those big disruptive Earth attacks as well, looking towards some more of those pieces beyond just the kind of Wizard shenanigans that Luke is getting up to.
Mind Warp being presented here, a card that really just wallowed in relative obscurity for the longest time coming out of Dynasty, but a fantastic card in its own right, always has been, just needed the ability to buff it more than just a singular Crucible of Aetherweave kind of punch. And now that that's capable, it has become a Wizard staple, along with a couple of new cards from this set. But wow, that is a hand. I don't know if we have the capability of looking at it closer. It looks like not in this case, but Rampant Growth Life, 2 sigils, 3 E-Pots on the board, a healing potion as well. If there's a spell in circulation here, this turn can go absolutely crazy.
So what these two heroes are playing towards, if you at home joining us have not seen it in action, the Rampant Growth trigger of Amp X or Amp at the amount of life you've gained this turn. Couple that a couple different times, utilizing both of them, and the Plume of Evergrowth is the way to amp like crazy.
3 tokens, we'll just leave them at tokens, representing each of the points of Arcane, going to respond to the final one here after gaining 2 life. And that response is going to be the Rampant Growth Life, and that, based on the life gained on this turn, didn't crack the healing potions or anything like that.
Nope.
Based on that life gain, he is going to Amp X with how much they gain.
Yeah. First has another Verdance trigger that he is now potentially either resolving to or let resolve. So that's another point of ping from the life gain from the life part of Rampant Growth Life.
Then I have healed 4, so Amp 4, 5 Arcane.
5 Arcane from the final Verdance trigger, taking Luke down to below his starting life total for ostensibly the first time that we've seen.
Then I'll play a Plowunder.
Oh, and a Plowunder is a fantastic response here, going to steal that arsenal away after using the Decompose effect. Just going to go ahead and decompose all 3 here.
Interesting.
Going to bottom the arsenal. Now, it depends on what was in circulation there, but we do have a Heartbeat of Candlehold, so that is going to be presented as a block. Now that perhaps the combo has been a little bit more broken up, we'll see how Luke decides to play out this hand, which is a little bit different without the further life gain. But here's the Sigil of Solace. This on the turn, it's going to gain 3 and represent 1 ping.
And Sigil of Solace, healing 3, dealing 1. Yep.
Healing 3, dealing 1. Looks like both players accept these propositions.
A 0 for 4 value card in both scenarios.
Autumn's Touch. There's Pulsing Aether. There's the Felling of the Crown, and the second healing potion for Luke Magnuson comes Enlightened Strike. Choice. Go again. That's going to buy a Pulsing Aether block. Taken 2. Luke back down to 40.
Both players playing healthier. I mean, they are playing as Verdance, the sweet summer child that just allows the life to flow through. And so, of course, it makes more sense when you're playing a mirror to have the capability of just gaining life and having a good time. Nevertheless, hey, that's a great turn sequence. Block effectively, play a healing potion, and pass, setting up for a literal just alpha strike style turn, OTK, if you will.
Another line strike. Back-to-back turns here.
No blocks, move to react.
As many say, second verse, same as the first. There's the rootbound Carapace going to grab some of those Earth Guards.
Taking one.
Yep, 39.
Luke dipping above and below his starting life total. Erase face now, the follow-up. So Levi been able to actually convert his hand relatively well in both these hands. Luke content to block relatively efficiently, blocking 6 there. Bunch of cards to the graveyard. Neither of these players have a weapon, and both of them are playing towards, again, Rampant Growth, Life. Utilize the Plume of Evergrowth often to get a second copy of Rampant Growth and Life. Amp your life gain total twice, and then do one final alpha strike. For Levi, though, something to pay attention to. One of those Rampant Growths was banished to a Decompose trigger for, I believe, the Plow Under, so he's only ever going to have access to 2 in this game. That's something that I'm totally going to be keeping an eye on, because I think it's something that could be pretty impactful.
Usually you predicate the combo off of just 2 procs of it, 1 to 2 procs of Rampant Growth Life, or really your lion's share of life gain happens off of something like a Healing Potion turn, or Fruits of the Forest, something to that effect, right? Playing more than 2 copies of Rampant Growth Life kind of enters into that magical Christmas land zone, which honestly, in a matchup like this, you can actually get to. It's a beautiful place where you deal lots of damage, but not something you would normally see in a game. We might actually watch it come to fruition with Luke here. Sitting on 3 E-Pots and 2 healing potions, and this game is nowhere near the damage threshold to reach conclusion unless someone decides to combo. There's the Sins of the Surgent Aethertide and the Respect pitching for it.
5 counters on the Alluvian Constellus to 0.
Attack for 6.
As though that's going back down now, though the Autumn's Touch coming across for 6.
Just content to play a very blocking game. Wait to set up literally all of your potions. If you're not being presented disruption or mass amounts of damage, you can just sit back, block, thin your deck, play for 2nd, 3rd, 4th cycle, and try to land this massive combo that doesn't have a ton of interaction unless your opponent's pitching alongside of yours.
Yes, it will.
And just gaining a bunch more life,
Yep.
pinging a bunch more with the Fruits of the Forest and the beautiful Sagrada Sigil.
I'm at 33.
Yes.
33 plays 57 here.
Now
Levi almost up 20 life.
Healing 3, dealing 3.
Yep.
Yeah, we'll see if these players can break the record set by Leon. I think it might have even been in the 70s, the highest that was seen.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think it might have been 79 life. I think at one point a player reached 79 life. Very healthy indeed.
My own.
But look how thin the deck is at this point for Luke Magnuson. It is really drawing to a close at this point. And you would imagine that the combo is going to need to be fired off. But we did hear earlier, correct me if I'm wrong, that I believe it's the same player, Luke, got to a point where they approached the last hand of the game and amped for, what, 27?
To the Forest, Verdance trigger.
24 for lethal on a singular play. Now, we did see earlier in the graveyard as we tuned into this game, there was indeed a copy of Forked Lightning, which is one of those like magical Christmas land cards. If you can manage to Surgent into Forked, you can deal like astronomical amounts of damage off of the magical Christmas land combo. So, is there another one floating around there? Usually you don't bring in too many copies of that card because it is clunky in any other respect.
Decomposing with the Cadaverous Tilling, somewhat of a contentious card in some of these matchups. Only blocks 2, but can come in for 8. Again, the Wounded Bull deck won our very first world, so 2 damage will leak over the top of these 2 3 blocks. After the Plow Under from Luke Magnuson plowed both of their arsenals under. Levi establishing an arsenal, as does Luke. So 14 life down is our Verdance on the right of your screen there.
There is the last healing potion in the hand of Luke. The other 2 are on the board already. 3 energy pots on the board already. The board is basically set. The stage is set. The table is prepared for Verdance to feast. Maybe on the Fruits of the Forest. Who knows?
Perhaps on the Fruits of the Forest.
I mean, looking at the way that this game is playing out, Levi continually just throwing these above rate attacks, trying to send Surging as well. Sorry, Surgent Aethertide as well for damage. Erase Face comes across. And more than happy, more than content to get value out of the hand by blocking and maintaining the life total. It almost feels like the onus is on Levi to find some way to stop this. Maybe like a, I don't know, some random one-of sideboard card of like an instant that stops instants. Aetherize?
Aetherize, sure.
Play Aetherize in your deck? Maybe
Luke
try and
drew
stop it.
2 Rampant Growths in this hand right here, as well as, I believe, a copy of Count Your Blessings.
I think he arsenaled a copy of Count Your Blessings as well. If that's the case, then maybe it's go time. I mean, with those E-Pots on the board, you have the capability of popping Plume of Evergrowth without pitching for it, and you have the possibility of sending Surge and Aethertide without pitching for it. I think you really get max value if you have another spell. So if you have 2 Rampant Growths in hand, then you can use Plume to go and get a Pulsing Aether
Something
Life.
big, yeah.
Or just a spell, period, end of story, so that you can just play the Pulsing Aether Life for the points of damage.
Yeah, got to be an Earth Action card for the Plume of Evergrowth. Levi here really having to think. Lucas could pitch both of those Rampant Growths to both of those Count Your Blessings, try to establish another second true pitch stack. Levi here just going to go ahead and activate the Healing Potion. He's not necessarily setting up for the longest of games. Verdance trigger.
I will take it.
33 after this from Lucas. Luke, excuse me. Another Healing Potion, so 4 health gained. Levi's starting to put his foot on the gas, it seems. Those are 2 important pieces in the Healing Potions. How does he want to utilize this here? 4 life gained so far.
I mean, if you're popping these, then you are attempting
Doing something.
combo.
Yeah, you're doing something.
And there's the first one. We saw one played earlier already. We can assume that this is at least one Plume is available if he's got the resources. He himself has an energy potion that he could bring into play and pop.
Before that resolves.
Before the Rampant Growth resolves.
Yep, there's the other one floating in the arsenal. So he's trying to present his own combo. Now, this might be fortuitous timing, of course, because it's happening 1 on his turn, but his opponent is in a precarious spot, being at life 30 itself. So
And only really AB4, I guess, is represented.
This one amping 6.
So the Rampant Growth 1, amp 6.
Rampant Growth number 2 going to resolve next. No, he's going to Plume so we can play it again.
Grab that Rampant, same
Gain a life.
Rampant Growth, gain a life.
57. I'm going to decline Verdance trigger.
Decline the Verdance trigger there.
Yeah, you don't want to send the damage because you want to get maximum amp on a singular point. So he's going to amp 7, and then I believe he's going to amp 7 again.
So 13 total. I think it was, let's see.
So he should amp 6 plus 6 plus 7.
Ah, that's pretty good.
You know, decent, right? And this
6 plus
should
6
pitch
plus
for the
7.
Surge and Aethertide, which means that there has to be,
21.
there has to be a spell in hand.
I'm going to pop 1 energy potion.
Yep.
21 arcane, and of course, any damage that this Surgeon Aethertide presents
So I take 17.
amps the rest of this. Is there a 0-cost spell in the hand for Levi? Is this long game about to just be over?
21. Oh, I just put down the wrong digits. Yeah. That should, yep.
Yes,
And
correct.
blocked 4.
So I
So take
The
17.
casual amping of a million.
Yeah, taking 17.
And Surge and Aethertide's going to surge that over. Now the question
17 Surge.
is
57.
there a Mind Warp in the hand right now?
Taking 17 going to 13.
E-Pot is available for a nice little Metacarpus node. Oh, it's just an Arcane Twining. Arcane Twining for the casual 1 plus 18.
So
Surgeon Aethertide is buffing up this Arcane Twinning by all of the damage that it dealt. So this is coming in for 18 total. Luke Magnuson,
Yeah, 18 total.
are those instants or actions on the healing potions down there?
They are actions, so you have to be on your own turn to activate them, and they do have go again,
He
but
has AB4.
do not help you in this moment. So you almost have to, like, just in a normal Wizard Mirror, you almost have to give up your E-Pots here to try and stop some of it. But I mean,
You can plume to grab
18.
healing from the
Yeah.
graveyard.
That's like all you really can do. Or you can play exactly this to count your blessings
Just healing.
and try to heal out of range, but it also just kind of takes away your own combo, and your opponent's at 57.
So that'll put me to 23.
Look at that. Heals 10 from the count your blessings there, up to 23.
And you can see why he was trying to set that, because it was going to heal massive amounts on his own turn, but of course he pitched the Rampant Growth Life, and he pitched the Rootbound Carapace. So trying to solve the problem here and finish the game right now is Levi. Now, it's very important to note, there's a singular card in hand, but 2 epots, and Levi has Storm Striders, while his opponent's at 6. The problem is that you can respond and stop some amount of Arcane if allowed. And gonna draw up, play for the 5th cycle, as it were, is Luke.
Man, Luke there, the count your blessings, the talk of the town, was the only way he was able to survive that turn, was the count your blessings from the hand. We don't know if there's one in the arsenal as well, but the healing there was enough to get through. That was Levi's huge combo turn. The healing potions are used. Plume of Evergrowth used. He's got 1 epot to his name and Dream. Can he find the 6 damage over the top? Take some cards out of Luke's hand to make a count your blessings response like that just happened before. Impossible, and that Storm Striders can finish this thing out.
Surgeon Aethertide presenting the 1 damage. What's the follow-up here? So often it's just another attack, which is exactly what we see here. It's just an attack, which makes the Surgeon feel so good because your opponent pitches to stop Arcane, hoping that they can stop some of the spillover, and then you just send an attack. But in this scenario, it feels desperate with a singular card block, taking 2 down to 3.
3, take 2. Luke down to 3 here.
That thing is so fidgety.
Over to you.
Passing back to Luke is Levi.
He's
Now it's
considering
time
his own turn.
For Luke to start to really put on the pressure. Gain 2 from the healing potion.
Now, in play here we have healing potions 1, 2, and 3 that gains 6 life. If that is a count your blessings from the arsenal, that's going to gain a lot of life. Probably what? Well, it depends on what color it is. Energy potion.
Play count your blessings. So that's for 11.
Healing 11 now with this count your blessings.
Up to 13.
That is going to be tough for Levi to get around.
I will take 155.
11. Where's a counter that goes up to it?
Oh, so maybe it's perhaps 11 total.
This one does
We will see as the life totals tick up. Nevertheless, this is representing a lot of healing now, but I don't believe in the hand current. Well, maybe there is a Rampant Growth in the hand. We know we can go fetch it. It does look like there is a Rampant Growth in the hand, which means you can do the double Rampant Growth play. Plume of Evergrowth is going to allow you to fetch for that, or it could fetch for the spell if you just want to do a single.
Luke was just at 3. He's up to 18. Now he's at 20.
Well, there's a card in play here. It's called Count Your Blessings.
Yeah, I've heard of it. Nightmare scenarios happening in front of us. If you are Levi here as your huge combo turn stuffed by Count Your Blessings, and now Count Your Blessings going to go ahead and power up Luke's Rampant Growth.
He does have the ability to gain 2 more life here if he wants to off of the Fruits of the Forest, but he's going to let this resolve. He has 2 resources. He has the ability to activate Plume by pitching. And he has a free activation of Surgent Aethertide. Keep that in mind as well, because Alluvian the counters can come off, so you can send Surgent for free. Discounting the Surgent from that is just a very key piece of the puzzle.
Amp 18. Plume.
Grab that.
Heal 1 life, decline the Verdance trigger.
Yep.
1 life, decline the Verdance trigger, so now 18 plus 19.
And ABing.
Then I will Metacarpus. So this is for 38.
I can activate Alluvian Constellus. Going to send this for just a sizable chunk of damage.
So this was 18 plus 17, so what is that, 35 plus 1 is 36.
And that's
So
just
Destructive
it.
Aethertide over the top, amping for 35. AB, that's the game. And Luke Magnuson, we said the main difference between these 2 decks, probably the Count Your Blessings, and at the end of the day, that was the difference maker. And it's going to bring Luke into the finals, taking down Levi in the Verdance mirror.
Count your blessings. Is it a real card? Well,
Real here.
it's real enough to get Luke into the finals of the Battle Hardened Milwaukee. And in a very specific mirror scenario where you can find all of those pieces and put the puzzle together, it looks quite good. But can that take place? Can that same style of just combo take place against the onslaught of the DMArmada? That is the question that we all have to ask ourselves. Let's look at the bracket and see how we got here.
Taking a look at our journey today. Those of you who've been with us all day, thanks for hanging out. It's time to get ready for the finals. Viserai Runeblood taking on Verdance Thorn of the Rose. Only one of the contentious sets of Count Your Blessings made it to our top 8, but it has now made it all the way to the finals. Nick is going to have to run fast, hard, and hot to take down this deck that is looking to out-life gain all of the other decks in the format and utilize that powerful combo that we just witnessed to take down the Runeblood himself. So I worry for Nick. I worry for this Viserai. They're going to have to put together such powerful turns because this Verdance has disruption, life gain, arcane damage. Nick's going to have to run pretty hot.
Well, to their credit, I think everyone has counted Viserai out as a middling Runeblade, a middling hero perhaps in this brand new meta, outclassed and maybe outshined by Aurora, Shooting Star, and maybe even Vincent. But you know what? Down but not out is Viserai. 2 of the decks made it into the top 8 and making its way into the finals with Nick Gabler. Viserai has the chance to maybe punch it home.
5 minutes is all that separates us and the next battle-hardened champion in Milwaukee, the game that will decide the final title. Don't go anywhere. We will see you in 5 for the finals of the Battle Hardened here in Milwaukee.